That's where that's going. But like, there were a couple of sections where I was like, okay, shut the fuck up, I don't care. And the ending shit got buck wild. Oh my God. Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Shoshana here to talk about some friggin' books that I read in quarter 3. I did my tier ranking of quarter 1 several months back. I just recorded the tier ranking for quarter 2 a few minutes ago. And I'm gonna do quarter 3 now. Even though quarter 3 is technically not over just yet, it is September 29th when I'm recording this. But as I said in the other video, I'm only reading one book right now and I'm like 20% into it. I ain't gonna finish it in 2 days, so I know all the books that I did finish in quarter 3. We're gonna do the damn thing. All right, and as I said with quarter 2, for quarter 1, I believe I included DNFs as well, but I'm not doing that for 2 and 3, so this is just books I did actually complete in quarter 3. And quarter 2 ended up being pretty good, pretty positive. There were mostly books towards the top. I think there's a fair amount towards the top in quarter 3 as well. But there are a few here that were less than desirable. And there's actually several that, as of the day that I'm recording this right now, several books here that I haven't even talked about because I'm a little bit behind in wrap-ups and things. It's fine, whatever. Maybe by the time this comes out, I will have talked about them. We're starting with Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. This is, and this is the same ranking I've done for 1 and 2. Frick yes. It's pretty self-explanatory, okay? Thing I read is just very middle of the road. Oh no, not for me is like, less than middle of the road. And then Good God, No Thanks is like, ugh, I had kind of a bad time. So Buffalo Hunter Hunter, I will put in frick yes. I don't think it's going to be towards the top though, so I'm just going to put it somewhere in the middle here. Because it's one that I don't think I would ever reread, but it was very well written. Pacing was a little bit of an issue here and there for me, but it's just so well done. It's so well written, and the like kind of gothic feeling, but like the horror like vibes, the atmosphere was there. And Good Stab is a truly stellar character, and all the characters I thought were very fascinating. And the ending shit got buck wild. Oh my God. And there's one scene in particular that just lives in my brain and like in a movie would be horrifying to see, and it was a little horrifying to read, but yeah, very good. My first Stephen Graham Jones, really loved it, so that's where that's going. And then Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen. This one goes in frick yes, and I bought a copy, will be rereading this. Very well written. The writing style is like, it's like she does gothic, atmospheric, creepy, eepy vibes, like that kind of a tone. Oh my God, so well. Her writing is so evocative and lush, but in a grotesque way, which is what you want in this type of book. Remnants of Dawn by Elliot Brooks. This is book 2 of her series. I'm gonna put this in fun, a pretty dang good time. There were some pacing things in this one that didn't always work for me, and like some character like study that didn't totally work for me, that felt a little, like I think it just added into the pacing stuff. It's also just a chunky book though, to be fair. So it is a longer thing to get through, but I really liked like the world opening up and the fantasy elements opening up, and just a lot of the politicking that was going on. Things were a lot more grounded and more like clear to me in this book than in the first book. And yeah, I had a fun time. Birth of a Dynasty by Chinaza Bado. This is frick yes. And honestly, I think like the craft of writing, the writing skill was good here, was solid. But I would like Buffalo Hunter Hunter and Blood on Her Tongue. I think the writing just was more to my taste, or it like stood out, you know, but it has been a minute since a fantasy, like an epic fantasy, has like really fucking hit for me. I've really enjoyed like Stephen Arion's series, which is more like historical military fantasy. A like just epic fantasy like this hasn't really hit like for a new book or whatever, not a reread. And this one did. And it's a favorite of the year. I had such a fucking fun time with this. So it's going to go above those for that reason. And I'm so fucking excited for the sequel. Oh my God. Cannot wait. The One and Only Vivian Stone by Melissa O'Connor. This is historical fiction. And like, I really enjoyed this. I don't think it will stand as like a favorite. I don't know, my top 10 for the year. I'm not sure what that's looking like right now. Maybe it'll fall into the top 10 of the year for like favorites. It's definitely not like top 5. And it's not like a favorite of all time, but it was a really fun time. I really liked Vivian Stone. And this book had a second chance romance in it that I didn't fucking hate. I wasn't like, oh my God, I love it so much. But I was like, oh, okay, like I can get behind this. Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. I read this very quickly. It was an easy read, and I will say I do think the craft, the writing craft here, the writing skill is good, like solid as far as her writing abilities, I guess, right? The sentence structures, definitely the tension that was built absolutely was there. I think that's why I read through it so quickly. But my God, I lost my marbles a little bit reading this book. So it's got to be in good God, no thanks. Because, oh my God, second chance romance like no other, and like in a very fucking annoying way to me. There's cheating in this. Don't love that. Like infidelity. And just the dumbest bitch of a main character that I kind of hate. So selfish. So immature and irresponsible. Could not fucking stand her. And just the choices. What the fuck are we doing here? No. Nolan by Michael J. Sullivan, book 1 of the Rise and Fall series. This is my first time rereading this. I really enjoyed it. I have said, and I will just mention again, the rereads this year have not been hitting the same, especially of fantasy. And so, like, very distracted feeling. Very, like, I'm not so into it. But I still love this world. I love the world. I love Michael J. Sullivan's writing. I love what he does with the characters and everything. And this had some really fun, like, oh shit moments for sure. So it's got to be up top there. Daydream in Gold by Mai Sonar. This is kind of the thing I read. I loved the ending. I really liked how things tied up in the ending. But the actual, like, experience of reading through this book was kind of like, I don't know, like, pacing issues and things, and just it wasn't always my cup of tea necessarily. Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. This is a new favorite of all time, so I gotta put it. Honestly, for now, I'm gonna put these like this. Even though, you know what, I gotta be fair. Nolan overall might have more staying power, but I had more fun reading Birth of a Dynasty this year, so I'm going to put that like that. And then scooch all these down a little bit and pop Nothing to See Here up here. I loved this. This is like general fiction, literary, and like magical realism elements. 2 children that spontaneously combust and someone who's going to be their nanny. And oh my God, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Here's one that I have definitely not talked about yet. The Woman in the Library by Sulari Gentile, unsure, apologies. This one was just like a thing I read. I feel like it's gonna go under They Dream in Gold because it's not sticking with me as much. Like They Dream in Gold, the ending especially, like I remember more, you know, although that They Dream in Gold had several annoying moments that were so like existential, literary. But overall, yeah, I think The Woman in the Library, it's like a mystery, and like the mystery of it just didn't like hit right for me, and just I didn't care about the characters all that much. I don't know. The Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Leong. This was a fave of the year for sure. And I think it has to go, it's like cozy fantasy, and it was just so fucking cute. Oh my God, so cute. I think it does have to go under here though. It was more of like a fun time than Blood on Her Tongue or Buffalo Hunter Hunter, and more than Nolan too. But is just a different type of read, you know, but I do really, really enjoy it. But I think overall, like, the story wasn't as impactful by any means. It doesn't, like, stick with me as much, but it, for what it is, especially, like, cozy fantasy, doesn't always work for me, but Julie Leong definitely works for me. The Sapphire Altar by David Dalglish. This, I will say, was a pretty fun time. Pretty good fun time, I would say. Lily, please, do you want to come up here? Oh my gosh, this baby. Come here. Lily wanted to say hello. She wants to get on my lap, is what she wants. Lily is getting much older, and she's very skinny these days. She might not look like it right here, but she's getting bony. I'm feeding her all the treats to fatten her up. Oh, baby. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, you're so cute. Say, I can't help it. I'm like 15 years old. Anyway, Sapphire Altar. This is the sequel to The Bladed Faith. Yeah, Jesus. And The Bladed Faith, I liked lots of the elements of it, but the main character in particular just drove me nuts. And certain little things kind of bugged me, but this one, the main character did not annoy me. One other character kind of did, but she was less of like a main character, I guess. And oh my god, the ending? Some of the shit, something that happens, one thing in particular, I was like, oh shit. And I purchased the third book. I'm going to be reading it relatively soon, and hopefully I enjoy the conclusion. So yeah, that one was a fun time. My Darling Dreadful Thing by Joanna Van Veen. This one, I will say, again, the writing, top tier. Very gothic. Much, even like more than Blood on Her Tongue. This one was like kind of scary a little bit. Not like, oh my god, keep me up at night. But like some of the descriptions of the ghost that is haunting our main character. And it's a benevolent ghost toward her, but not necessarily a totally benevolent ghost at all. And she's so disgusting and grotesque. But I didn't like the characters as much. I didn't get invested in the characters as much. And like the plot overall, I wasn't as into it, you know. But it was still pretty dang good. Especially if you're wanting some like gothic horror, historical gothic vibes. That's the way to go. This Vicious Hunger, however, by Francesca May. This is like historical gothic fantasy. Definitely, oh no, not for me. Kind of in Good God, No Thanks, honestly. Yeah, I think I gotta put it in Good God, No Thanks. Because it was so wildly repetitive. And the whole first half, where were the gothic fantasy vibes? Not there. The whole first half, it's technically fantasy world because it's a made-up fictional world, but it just feels like historical fiction. There's no creepy, eepy tone. Even before we get into like the fantasy stuff, it's just not gothic feeling at all to me. And then we get into the gothic fantasy stuff, but then we become so repetitive. And the main character was so frustrating to me. My God. And just, yeah, repetitive ass conversations. No, thank you. Lavender House by Lev A.C. Rosen. This is like a queer historical mystery following a detective who is gay, and he's being tasked with solving a mystery of someone's murder. And it's touted as like Knives Out, but gay, I guess. Like that's the kind of comp title that is used. And I don't think it does it any favors. It's just like a rich family and there's a murder mystery that we're trying to figure out. So like, I guess kind of, but I don't know. I don't think that comparison did it too many favors. I love Knives Out though, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I would say, oh no, not for me. I like what it was doing. I like the messaging, of course, but I just didn't love the mystery. I don't think it was executed super well, you know. The Memory of the Ojisi by Moses Osei Utomi. This is the third and I believe final book in the Forever Desert series. These are novellas, and these are ones that are weird. Like, I like what we're doing. I like what the author is doing with this series, and it's interesting and fascinating, and the fantasy world is very cool. But it leans like literary in the tone and in the writing and everything. And sometimes it leans into that like vague, ambiguous, who even knows what's happening here? Like we're not describing things very clearly always. where I get a little lost in the sauce, and maybe that's just a me thing. But yeah, I think this one has to go in a thing I read, but I will put it towards the top, actually, because I really hope this author writes a full-length novel at some point, because I would definitely want to check that out. Like a full-length fantasy novel by this author, I think would be hopefully very good and like more up my alley. The Names by Florence Knapp. This is going straight to the top because this is a new all-time, lifetime favorite book. My God, I was obsessed. I am obsessed. I still need to get a physical copy of it. I love this book so much. It was just, I don't know, man, it hit me just right. I pretty much read it in one sitting. I read over 200 pages in one sitting. And the last like 100 pages, I was just crying. I was just, and like, not just like getting a little choked up, like for like 25 or so pages of that, I was like just getting choked up. And I remember telling my boyfriend, like, I don't know what, I'm getting like choked up reading this book and like nothing like is happening yet. Like nothing like crazy sad or anything has happened. I'm just getting like swept up in the story that is unfolding before my eyes. And like, I think like anticipating where certain things were going and like just this feeling of like, oh no. And like then moments of just like such beauty of like the beauty of life and whatever. But then the last like 75 pages, I was crying. Like, not like full on like, like blubbering, but like actually crying, like tears rolling down my face and like doing some of those, you know, like choking back the tears. Like it just hit me just right. I thought it was very well done and beautiful. The Penultimate Peril by Lemony Snicket. The Series of Unfortunate Events series. This is the penultimate book. And this reread has been going on for a good long while because I had to take a break because they're very formulaic. But man, I love the authorial voice. I just do. But this is another one where the reread, especially the couple of books that I have reread this year of this, have not hit the same. I'm distracted, whatever. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put it right there. Yeah, a thing I read, like middle of the road. I read it, whatever, I'm rereading them. Cool, great, grand, wonderful. The last few here. Empire of Shadows by Jacqueline Benson. This is historical, kind of fantasy. Yeah, fantasy. Adventure romance. This was a fun fucking time. I would say probably up here. Yeah. It was a really good time. For what it is, again, I mean, is it like going to be in my top 10 favorite books I read this year? No, I don't believe so. But I'm going to continue with the series. It's fun. I think it was a little overly long, but I really like the characters. I like their banter. I like the romance. And I like the fun, like, archaeology, historian, adventure of it all. The Indiana Jones of it all, you know? And then Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte, what is it? Charlotte McConaughey? Yeah, McConaughey. This is, like, not for me. Borderline and good God, no thanks. Honestly, I don't think I've talked about this one yet either, but I was so annoyed. I was so fucking annoyed. And take my opinion with a grain of salt, I guess, because there were a couple sections where I skimmed a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, where I was just like, I don't give a shit. I read it, like I didn't skim it so much that I barely read it, as I've done in the past with certain books. And have said to you guys. But like, there were a couple of sections where I was like, okay, shut the fuck up. I don't care. I kind of wanted to DNF it, but I was just kind of like, man, I've been seeing this get so much hype and so many people loving it. And it has a pretty high average rating where I was like, well, I need to see what's here. Maybe there's something towards the end. Like as I was reading, I'm just like, this is kind of miserable. But then there's nothing that really redeemed it for me, honestly. So yeah, it's definitely here, but I'm debating putting it down here. I kind of wanna. I think I'm gonna put it down here. It just, no, thanks. And then Cleopatra by Sada El-Arifi. Have not talked about this as of the time I'm filming either. Buddy read this with Roger, my bestie. And we both had NetGalley arcs. This doesn't come out until next year. I want to say, I think March? I don't know. Sometime in 2026, though. And this is just like a Cleopatra historical, but it's like magical realism as well. Storygraph has it also tagged as like fantasy, but I don't know. We just didn't have a great time with this. It's got to go in, oh no, not for me. It's not like it was badly written or anything like that. And we both talked about it, that we feel like she did a good job of, the magical realism was that like how the Egyptians saw like the gods and like these rituals that they believed they had to do for the gods. Like I read The Woman Who Would Be King about Hatshepsut last year, nonfiction. It was very fascinating seeing like all these ritualistic things they did that they believed they had to do. Like one thing, which was, it's a little out there, I guess. There's a statue of a god that, like, Hatshepsut, as the wife of this god, had to like facilitate the god's member every morning, and like in this ritual, because they believed that like gave fertility to their land or something, if I remember correctly. And it's shit like that, right? It's like, what the fuck? But there was a lot of things like that, and the symbolism and the rituals that they did, that they believed like they were blessed by these gods, or if there was famine, like, oh, we must have angered the gods, right? And she did a good job of like weaving that in a way that felt like, that's what we were like, is this historical or is it fantasy? Because they believed that they were blessed by the gods, but we were like, are they actually in this version or not? And it was a little unclear if they truly were, or if it was just what they believed. And then like, I think that's where like the magical realism came in, where you're like, maybe it's real in this version, but maybe it could not be also. They genuinely believed these types of things. But we just, I don't know, it didn't hit. It wasn't a story that I cared. And then also true fantasy element that comes in at some point that kind of pissed me off. And I finished before Roger did, and I was just like, oh, he's gonna fucking hate this too. And he did. We both were like, what the fuck was that? Like, genuinely, what the fuck was that? How the book ends, I did not like it. I did not like it at all. It was kind of, yeah, it was, oh no, not for me. It was, I don't know, not the book for me. A lot of people have loved it. I looked at the current like reviews, and obviously it's people who have e-arcs and people who probably are, a lot of them seem to be people who are really into Cleopatra, and I think just like anything dealing with Cleopatra. So if you're someone like that, you might really, really love this and have a totally different experience than we did. Fairlane by Michael J. Sullivan. I gotta put Fairlane up here, I think. Again, as with all the other books this year that I'm rereading for this world, a little distracted, not being able to get as invested in it as I was the first time, but it's not the book's fault. And I think Nolan still goes above Fairlane, but I think I would put it back here. There we go. And then Sheer by Vanessa Lawrence, I think. Yes. This is a NetGalley e-arc I got for a book coming out in January of 2026. And I read it, and I mean, I read through it fairly quickly, I guess. It's a contemporary. I think I saw it tagged somewhere as literary fiction. It's not. I don't think it's literary fiction at all. And it's about like this woman who starts, like, she's a founder of this like makeup company, and she's like innovative and whatever. She's a lesbian, and that's like a big part of her story. And she's just like telling her story. There's like been a scandal. She's been involved in a scandal, and she might be getting like kicked out of her own company. And then it's her like sitting down to like write her story. And it was just a little boring, honestly, where I was like, this like success story isn't that interesting. And also she was so fucking dumb. Oh my God, like painfully naive and stupid for someone who wants to be such a businesswoman. And she was even in college going to school for business, and then just like not a smart person with business stuff at all. So yeah, it was very, and then like what the scandal was and how that was portrayed, and like her character, I was like, what is the message here? Because it feels weird. It felt almost like a message of when people are called out publicly for doing bad things or problematic things. Like, it felt like it was the author pushing everyone to like listen to both sides. But in certain situations, and even kind of in this one where I'm like, no. And the character development wasn't that great for me by the end. I was kind of like, all right. And it was a little rushed also, so whatever. I'm trying not to like spoil things. For anyone who cares about this book, probably no one's even heard of this book. It was like some random, I don't even know why I requested it. Because like reading the synopsis, I'm like, what made me think this was something I would want to read? I don't know. It could have been interesting, I guess. Like the premise, like just overview of the premise could have been interesting. But the way it was executed, it was not. Once again, mostly really good things. I mean, even taking out the rereads, there's only actually a couple of rereads up here. I found two all-time favorites, new all-time favorites. One, which is like all City of Girls level, currently. We'll see when I reread it, but currently the names is like City of Girls level of like, I love it so fucking much. And another new great fantasy, discovered kind of an enjoyment of horror vibes this time around too. Found another cozy fantasy that I love. So yeah, pretty successful quarter 3 with a few very much duds, very clear duds, but not that many. So that's great. There were lots of DNFs in this quarter, I will say. I think quarter 1 I had 4, 5, I had 11 DNFs for quarter 1. That was kind of a lot. March had 60. April, May, June, quarter 2, I had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 DNFs. And wait, I feel like I've had more DNFs than that in September. Oh, maybe not. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I thought I had more. Anyway, that is all. Let me know if you have read any of these and what your thoughts were. Or if you don't have anything to say on that front, what has been like a favorite or two of yours from quarter 3 for July, August, September. Let me know. Or just leave an emoji if you want to say hey and make your breads know. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.